Okay, here we are. This is lesson 4 of how to draw a Ferrari F12. And as you can see, we're working more on the front end of the car again. Not only are we expanding the areas that were really dark, but I'm darkening them up somewhat too to get back to the kind of contrast that I need between them and the light spots. So I'm marking out new territory here, but I'm also darkening up on the other parts, on the same parts that is, the ones that I've already drawn though, because I want to make those darker so that they show up better. And it's really, I'm sure for you, kind of hard to see the vision that I have in my mind about how this is going to work out. But what I'm trying to do is make a drawing that's got a real high contrast so that it will be very dramatic, the difference between the lights and the darks. So in order to do that, I have to keep the lights white, which I'm doing right now by not putting anything in them. And then I have to darken up the dark spots considerably. And there are some parts in the car that are much darker than others too. So again, we have to be very careful when you do this. You have to make sure that you don't go too far with the color gray or black even. So it's a very delicate balancing act to get the difference between the highlights and the shadows correct. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is to make it look like it's believable as the difference between the two of them. Anyway, it's looking good here. I've got no problems. Everything looks like it's coming along fine. I will tell you though, some of these, when I made the rough sketch of the car, I didn't put some elements in. So as I'm going along, I'm also comparing this out of camera that you can't see. I'm comparing this to the photograph that I'm using and looking down at it and then trying to put those same areas on here. And the photograph that I have is much smaller in size than this is. So it's something that you have to do in your mind, is figure out how large it's going to be and then go from there. And that's what I'm doing, and it's working out so far just great. Anyway, beautiful car. I did not work on the grill yet, but I just ran out of time today. But I think I'm going to do that first thing tomorrow, and that way it'll also give me the prancing horse, the emblem, the Ferrari emblem in the grill, and that will kind of help take a reader's or viewer's interest right to that when they see it. So I want to do that very soon, and it's going to be very, very dark because it's a black intake, and we're going to pump it up even more so it shows more contrast to the body. So that'll be very good because the Ferrari, the prancing horse, will be sitting there in almost pure white, if you want to call it that. In this case, it'll be silver, but it'll look really great against the black of the intake, and I know that that's going to make a very great magnet for people's eyes. They're going to look at that and say, "Oh wow, that's terrific." It's those little details like that. If you can make those come out right, you can sell any car to somebody as a real drawing. So a little time spent on that kind of detail will just work wonders for what people think of your drawings. And it really doesn't take much time. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time to do the rest of what I'm doing now, but again, it's time well spent, because what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that the relative values of one to the other are going to be believable. And that's going to either make the difference between a cartoony looking drawing or a realistic looking drawing. And I want realistic. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be photorealistic, but it has to be enough to tell a person that that was drawn from a car, not just out of my brain. So that's where I'm going with it. Anyway, nearly running out of time for today. But come back tomorrow, we'll do the grill, and then we'll start on doing some of the other darker parts too. And we'll have a lot more done on the body tomorrow. And you're going to start to see this really take shape. Anyway, I hope to see you tomorrow, and we will be busy. Thank you. Bye.